wildly successful. That's like the Red Sox trading David Ortiz to the Yankees, or the Celtics trading Paul Pierce to the Lakers. We just don't want that to happen. We're not going to let that happen. And three, we think that by lifting up narratives, you guys will see, we all will see, we will learn about community, about connection, and maybe it'll activate, and maybe it'll activate and be a catalyst for mentorship too, which is at the core of what we believe in. All right, quickly, the agenda. We'll do the welcome and framing, opening remarks from Rudy, director and coach, co-producer, amazing gentleman from Boston. They are the co-founders of Create a Buzz Films. Then we will get into our film screening. We will have an exhale because this film screening does have heavy content. Then we will jump into our panel discussion. We have an amazing panel with some credible messengers, Donald, Jasmine, Tasha, Gail, Alona, Dr. AMC, and Coach. And then we will do a Q&A and open it up for anybody to ask. In the Q&A, Rudy will jump into the Q&A as well. And then we'll wrap up with a call to action from Donald, Coach, and our very own Jasmine. And then we'll close around 1:30. As you might have seen from the notification, this event will be recorded. So just make a note of that. That's our disclaimer for that. Let's go into the norms. I'm going to give everybody just maybe 10 seconds to read these and ask that you can internalize them. We are going to be discussing content. We're going to be grappling with some vulnerability. And I'm going to ask that we all respect that deeply and that we are aware of our assumptions. I would ask that if it's possible that you keep your cameras on, if you feel comfortable with that, because it increases the engagement. I'm going to ask that you enter this space with empathetic and active listening and sensitive and thoughtful curiosity, especially as we think about some of the content that we're going to be exploring today. So with that being said, I want to turn it over to the brilliant, the amazing, the compassionate Rudy Hippolyte and Dennis Wilson, AKA Coach.
Thank you so much, Aka. I'm going to make you my agent. I just, first of all, I'm Rudy Hippolyte. I'm the director, producer of the film excerpts you're about to see. So we'll show you some excerpt for the film. We'll show you if you wanted to see the entire film. I'm here with co-producer Dennis Wilson. He's also the person who started Create a Buzz documentary films with me in 2006. I want to take a moment to thank Big Brother, Big Sisters of Eastern Massachusetts for your generosity and support in making this forum available to us. It's been wonderful working to get to this point. So thank you. And I want to thank each of you showing up here today, because it means that you're taking time out of your day, your work life, your family life, because you want to maybe see something that you are not aware of, or you want to better understand, especially in this time of racial reckoning. Create a Buzz Films, as I mentioned, we started in 2006, and our mission is Black Boston on Film. So we try to accentuate stories on folks in Boston neighborhoods that you don't necessarily see in mainstream media. So usually films about Boston, you'd see maybe East Boston, South Boston, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, but you never get a chance to see the stories and the voices from our neighborhoods. So we try to focus on the predominantly Black and brown neighborhoods of Boston, like the South End, Roxbury, Dorchester. And we try to put a face. And again, when we focus on folks from our communities, it seems to resonate their stories across the country. So we're very happy to be able to share some excerpts of the films. I'm very excited about the panels and having a chance to hear your questions and interact with you. Without further ado, I wanted to again introduce the co-producer to introduce himself, Coach Dennis Wilson, and speak about the film. But he's so much more than a co-producer, but I'll let him speak to that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rudy. I appreciate it. And on behalf of, as well as Creative Buzz Documentary Films LLC, Rudy and myself, and I just want to take the opportunity to thank the Creator, the Most Highest, for allowing Rudy and I to do what we do and be here today. And I want to thank you all also for taking the time, because this is very special to me myself, and also that passionate gentleman, Aka, who I've had the opportunity to meet, and Jazz. I want to thank Big Brother, Big Sister, Jazz, and Aka. You guys are amazing. The short time that I've met you, you guys have electrified me, inspired me to keep doing what Rudy and I are doing. And the team, your team, we've now formed the dream team. So I just want to say that. And also the many corporations, for you to be here and for you to participate in this special event and forum just tells me that there is hope, and we're going to make a change, no matter how large or how small. I just want to give you a brief bio of myself. Again, Rudy alluded to it, as well as Aka. I'm a lifelong resident of Roxbury. I'm a retired history teacher, dean of discipline at Madison Park High School, the Mighty Cardinals, as well as co-founder with my brother Harry G. Wilson of the Boston Raiders Youth Football and Cheerleading Program, which we founded in /75, and serving many young brown and black children, boys, making boys to men and girls to respectful young ladies. And I got kind of influenced to get involved in filmmaking with Rudy, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's a different kind of thing for me, being from an educational sports background. But I saw the need for us to provoke thought and try to make change, not only in our community, but throughout the country. And we all know all the ills of society going on and plaguing our brown and black children. These young men, have I noticed while filming them, they're some very gifted, talented young men. I work with young men and young ladies in my classroom, on the court, on the football field. But these young men are different. And it really disturbed me to know that there's so many negative factors in ill society just pulling these young men in the wrong direction. And I know, and I'm living proof, and as well as having seen the change that our film, I feel our film is that instrument of change. That if giving these young men the opportunities, giving these young men the mental health services, giving these young men the skilled training programs and support, okay, corporations, legislation, law enforcement, get in front of these different groups and different organizations' eyes, young boys seeing that there is hope, there's a change, that we can make this change. So I'm happy that you all are here today to see this powerful, impactful film. The panel is amazing. We have some mothers that, again, I just can't say enough for how strong they are. But again, enjoy this film. It has so many issues. It spells out the problems, and it also gives you some solutions. And again, enjoy. Happy to be a part of it. Excited about today, and I'll be back with more to give you and more insight on what we're trying to do, Rudy and I. Funding, screening, let's get this film in front of as many eyes as possible so we can make the change, everybody. Thank you.
It's him or me, and I ain't trying to slip, try to make it home, gotta bust a dip, can't judge me, these street rules, gotta think fast or die quick, the way we living ain't normal, I wish that we could live normal, all my homies dead or locked up, I swear this life ain't normal, the way we living ain't normal, I wish that we could live normal, lost 10 friends before 21, I swear this life ain't normal. Body stacking high to the sky, this ain't normal, bullets flying by, you hear them cry. This ain't normal. This ain't normal. This ain't normal. I see it every day. Still they say this ain't normal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's 10 o'clock straight up. Touch 106.1 FM. You know how we hold down the city. We feed the streets, the home of the underdog. Nothing but great Boston / New England hip hop.
I got conscious that talks to me. I try and listen what I gotta say. The devil on my left, God on my right shoulder. God telling me.
Boston is small, very small. So you got gangs on every street. Just in this area right here alone, and it's not that big, man. This block from Hancock to Geneva is probably 7 blocks. And out of the 7 blocks on both sides, you probably got a total of at least 11 gangs.
There's a gang right here, there's a gang next to this street, and then there's a gang next to that street, then there's a gang behind that street, and then there's 2 more gangs on this side. So just this area alone, there's about 6 or 7 gangs. And that's a 3-block radius, 4-block radius.
Boston is a 5-mile radius. You have at least 6 boroughs. You have Mattapan, Dorchester, Roxbury, South End, Hyde Park. In Mattapan, you may have up to 20 gangs. In Roxbury, you might have 20, 30 gangs. Dorchester, you may have 30, 40 gangs. South End, you may have at least 10. Overall, there's gangs being formed every day.
Warren Gardens, St. Joseph's, Norfolk, H Block, Castlegate, Interville, Brunswick, Fayston, The Villa, Franklin Field, Franklin Hill, Lenox, Mass Ave, Draper Street, Hendry Street, Barry Street, Lucerne. I don't have an exact count, but I would say probably over 100.
Blocks start off as families, Like you grow with this person, that's your family. Like it's not your friend. Like I don't got no friends. You know what I'm saying? Like what you want to associate or you my family. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what's up. You with me, you against me. Like you love me, you hate me. You feel me?
This guy really turning. They gonna wait. They gonna wait. They good.
Come on, take the foot.
You just gotta look over your shoulder. Like you just see it right here, man. I'm just gotta be cautious, man. Where I come from, man. If not, I'll be on Channel 7 News, man.
Police trying to track down the gunman behind a daylight shooting. A man in his 20s shot in Dorchester. Now, this follows a shocking night of violence in and around Boston. 4 different crime scenes, 8 people shot, 5 of them killed. Julie Lonchek's live in Boston tonight. Julie, people just don't feel safe.
What's been interesting about this population is that they're not mobile. They've been in the same communities, the same groups for the last 30 to 40 years. So the profile of a lot of them happen to be young, black, unemployed, part of a group looking for something, but they have beefs with other folks based on the simplest things of respect and disrespect.
I'm an animal without a leash, popping bottles with my niggas, you hear me capiche. They ain't lying when they telling you that I'm a beast. They ain't lying when they telling you that I'm a beast.
Grew up in Warren Gardens. It's a lot of, dangerous neighborhood. It was rough, shooting everywhere, but that's where I was born and raised. That's where my team's at.
Bob is a very ambitious young man. He's very passionate about his love for his neighborhood and his friends, and I think his mindset is that his friends is his family.
I've been in an Italian home when I was younger, like DSS. Then from DSS, I've been a juvenile. Got committed to DYS till I was 18. I was in the streets. That was interfering with school, so I was more focused on the streets than school. Just looking at fancy cars, all that money. I wanted to do the same thing, wanted what they had.
Yo, you want me to put you up front a little bit so you don't have to wait all that time?
Yeah.
Got you.
Moved out of the hood when I was 15, moved with my mom. During that time, 14, 15, that's when I started rapping.
Stay strapped with them 30s, we with this shit. My niggas be riding, we with this shit.
Daquan started hanging with guys that I grew up with. I'm just like, damn, this happened to me a long time ago when I was this age. I don't know, something about Warren Goddess that just draws him back. That's just his life, you know what I mean? That's just how he grew up.
To me, Boston gangs are totally different than like a Chicago, very structured, organized gang, or LA, Bloods, Crips, where it's one side, east or west or south. You know what I mean? Like Boston historically has been streets. They identify themselves with these sports teams.
You got the Trailblazers, OP Trailblazers. You got Mission Hill in Michigan. You know, you got Green Bay Packers, Greenwood. You got Draper, Debo, they wear Detroit hats. You got Norfolk, they wear Chicago Bulls, you know? These are the teams you gotta pay attention to and not wear. You gotta be careful what you buy.
If I'm wearing a baseball hat and we're wearing this hat to represent our hood, our neighborhood, that's what we're doing. But if that 12-year-old is wearing that hat to match with his Jordans, that's not what he's doing. He's wearing his hat as a fashion statement. But the problem is he may cross territorial lines that he has no clue about. No clue about. And here he goes about his business with his matching hat and his Jordans and gets killed. Now, whose fault is that? Yeah, you should be able to wear whatever hat you want. Unfortunately, that's not the merry good old world we live in.
Boston's small. There's about 75 killings a year. That's just Boston. Yeah, I know. That might not seem like a lot to other cities, like, you know, Chicago. We could look at Chicago. 500 men die a year. A year. That's in Chicago. Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. 188 bodies a year. New Orleans, Louisiana, New Orleans, 257 bodies a year, and they not even talking about the ones they can't even find when you dump them in with the crocodiles and alligators.
Bop is a very...
I love you more.
I love you more.
No, I love you more.
No, I love you more. I'm gonna get some candy.
We'll get you some candy. Okay? But I love you more.
I love you more.
I love you more. You gonna hold my hand when you cross the street?
No, I'm gonna cross the street by myself.
You can't cross the street by yourself.
But there's no crossing for me and you're not gonna run me over.
Okay. 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 I don't know why mommy didn't put your Jordans on. Why didn't you put them on?
Get them dirty.
You didn't want to get them dirty? You know about keeping your sneakers clean at 3, huh? Okay, I ain't mad at you. As long as you keep them clean. Come on, we're gonna get something to eat, okay? Come on, we're gonna go this way, okay? Thank you.
They need more men in this area. Because a lot of these young men, as I'm finding, they don't have dads. Some of their dads have died, whether it be from murder or sickness. You know, they don't have dads at all. And I think a heavy presence of real men in their lives would actually make an impact.
It's a full stack?
Yeah, for free? Yeah, do whatever you want to do with it. But it's for the crib.
How you do that?
You got to get on the lease. You and your girl got kids together, so you know it's called doubling up. You're doubling up with your parents.
Yeah.
So if you get a crib and they sign you to the lease, you don't got to be in it. As long as they sign you to the lease, it's called emergency funding. So
what if my crib on this lease?
Huh? Nah, it don't work like that. It's for your own crib.
Oh,
you got to be on your own.
Yeah, my mother was, she wasn't really there. She was in and out of jail since I was 5. My pops died when I was 5, so. You put 2 and 2 together. My father got killed May 18th, 1996. We got into a scuffle with some guy, got the best of him. The guy killed him. That was fucked up, you know? Little kid losing his dad. I remember like it was yesterday. I'll never forget stuff like that, you know? I guess it happens.
Like, for me, it would feel like normal because nobody around really had a pops. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm not really having a pops, it's like, it wasn't like everybody got a pops. I'm not the only one. Nobody really had a pops. You know what I'm saying? Probably like two people out of 30 had a pops. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, their pops is like our pops. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, y'all be good, boom, boom. Like, they kind of was strict. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm not really around that, so it's like, but of course you see it, like, damn, what my pops, what the fuck, what's up with it? What I'm supposed to learn from, what am I learning, who am I gonna learn from, you know what I'm saying? Every little child needs his pops. We don't gotta get sentimental, but it's truth.
Sometimes people ain't gonna admit it, but at the end of the day, it's like you wanna know who your father and your mother is, but it's like corny, cause it's like your father wasn't there, nigga. He made you, but he ain't there. Like, who is that? Like, I wanna know what he did to make me. Like,
my father passed away when I was 4 years old, so I don't know who my father passed away. My little brother's father passed away. One of my little brother's father got natural life. It's all bad.
I don't know who my father is.
This is real life, man.
I love everything about making music. I like, you know what I'm saying? That's what separates me from people who just rap, you know? Rappers just want to rap. I like making music, so I listen to all types of things. And I write music that everyday people could think about. You know, if you're going through some struggles, I got music for that. If you're going through some happy times, I got music for that. If you hate the world, I got music for that, you know? I'm a Renaissance guy.
Been working with other street workers before. I've been in the studio. They brought me in the studio and stuff. There's a lot of people that's talented in Boston. Boston's next up, but it's like Boston don't know how to get with each other. Everybody got drawn with each other.
We'll have 3 groups here that are supposed to be rivals. After getting together, they say, we are not really enemies, you know? And they
even start making songs together.
They start making songs together.
Which is, to me, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the best behaving people I've met in my life. Yeah. I could actually, I would change my whole life to rewrite my whole life. And things I thought was important, this is more important way than anything else I've experienced. It's amazing when they get that energy.
So I don't see them as
I've had more problems with regular people that's not gangsters. These are intelligent people that know how to move when they're treated with that respect and they have a direction and they see the value in who they are.
All these organizations and companies claiming to do this work, you have to show it because we need you. I can't do it all. Jim can't do it all. Studio can't do it all. When we all come together and converge around them is when we're gonna win. Right now it's a half circle. We need a full circle to wrap around these guys.
The only thing our kids are at risk of is being successful if we believe in them. So the young folks of Street Safe, all they're at risk of is being successful if we provide them with the pathway and the tools to allow them to do that.
If you ask a young man to put down the gun, then you ask the young man to stop selling drugs. Then you ask the young man to stop his gang activity. What do you replace it with? Has to be something. All right, so now I got the concerns out the way.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you another question. What the hell is wrong with you, man?
I don't know, man.
Bro, you let another man talk enough crap to you, you know, that you had to bust him in the mouth at work.
Yeah.
So he figured out how to press your buttons.
He be getting drunk all the time, like every day. Like, he got a drinking problem. So me and Ronja, we already know that, so we stay away from him. But just that day, he was like feeling himself so much. He's like, he's talking mad trash to everybody. Right to my face, looked me in my eyes and called me a bitch. You hit me in my mouth, I let that slide. You call me a sucker 2 times, I let that slide. Then you call me a bitch to my face. This ain't even it. So I'm like, I said, well, I couldn't even talk and get it out because I couldn't believe he was
disrespect. Nobody ever talked to me like that. Dudes I got beef with, they don't even talk to me like that. But he's laughing like, haha. I said, yo, you know what? I don't know what your problem is or who you think you're talking to, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. Let's go in the bathroom. He was like, nah, you know it ain't like that. I said, oh, now it ain't like that. I told you I wasn't playing with you before. So we get in the bathroom, he's like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Cause you know, you got popped in your head. That's your problem. That's when I hit him. Boop. Then I knocked him out. And then I woke him up. And then we left out the bathroom. That's when the manager like got involved in everything.
What you needed to do was walk away, go to the manager. Hey, listen, this gentleman over here.
I'm not doing
I can't work. Listen, hear me out. This gentleman over here, I can't work with him today. Something wrong with him. Y'all might need to check him out. Because if not, it goes to the extreme, and then what happens? You act on impulse. Then what happens? You get in a fight at the job. And then what happens? You lose your gig. And then what happens? The check that you was counting on to help your family is no longer there.
Yeah. But it's like I'm being put in situations that I never been through before. So it's not like I know like off instinct, like, oh, yeah, I should act this way when I never was put in a position to act that way in the first place.
Confrontation on the job is not rare. That happens. That happens. Whether it is another employee coming to work drunk, whether it is another employee feeling as though, you know, I'm just going to disrespect them just because.
Yeah.
No more of that, man. No more of that, bro. You need anger counseling?
Probably.
All right. No, I'm not even being funny. I'm not being funny with that. That's a real situation.
I might need something.
So I want you to get evaluated. Reason being, seriously, it's not normal for a young man to be shot. Like, that's not normal. You understand what I'm saying? It's not normal for someone to be driving in their car and someone to shoot up the car. That's not normal. It's not normal for me and my family to be somewhere and then the crib gets shot up. That ain't normal.
So we can't never go no damn where, cause you always crying. You need $5. I just spent $10 on your outfit and you didn't already ripped it up. Come on, let's cross the street. Wait, give me your hand. Get his hand. Wait, David, pay attention to this damn street. You know, I'm in the kitchen, I'm about to make some pastelitos for my kids, and I get a message, a notification message to my phone. It's my friend texting me from Facebook, like Boppy's been shot. I'm like, what? It was a hollow tip bullet, so it ripped his bowels and his intestines, all that stuff. And it took them like 6 to 8 hours to repair all that stuff back for him.
Got shot, you know, can't really move my leg right now. Can't really pee on my own right now, you know.
He a thug in the streets, that's how he portrays himself. But to hear him crying in pain like that, he needed his mother, and I couldn't do nothing for him.
I was on the road, about to get features with people and all that, famous people, you know. But this incident getting shot messed me up, slowed me down. I mean, I'm not gonna say what happened, it's just wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time.
I would like to think we're successful. Before we came out of here, it used to be a shooting almost every other 10 minutes.
Shit, we lost our first friend at 15. He died at 15, 2003.
One day everything could be all great, and then Next thing you know, everything it's going down.
2004, lost another one. 2005, lost another one. 2006, lost 2 more. 2007, lost 1 more. 2008, January 8th, God rest my nephew's soul, Darian L.J. Carrington, lost him. This is the life we chose, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, damn. He got out December 21st of 2007, got killed January 8th, 2008. That wasn't even 3 weeks yet. 3 weeks. Just because he went to go get some Chinese food in a fucking restaurant. To this day, we don't know nothing. Nope, nothing.
They feel like murder is normal. We get a call, somebody's shot. We go to the scene to assess the scene. When you see 16-year-old females with iPhones filming the young person on the ground opposed to calling 911 to get an ambulance, something's wrong.
Yeah, when shit like that happen, man, you start questioning a lot of shit, you know?
It always hurts when somebody you close to, or just anybody that you know, get killed. Ain't nothing sweet about it.
It's not something you get used to.
Angel's been part of us for years. An extraordinary young man who was moving his life along, man. Graduated high school, was working, got a promotion, was looking to go to college, never missed practice. Damn.
I just got a phone call saying my man got shot in the head, man. And he's never gonna come home, man. We're never gonna see him again. I just got a phone call. And that kind of fucked me up, man. Cause from there, everything just went downhill, you know? I wasn't the same person as I was the day before when he was alive. It just turned different. I didn't want to do anything anymore. I didn't care. Just wanted to shut down, you know?
You gonna make way, my nigga. There's no way of locking you out.
All right, y'all. So I know what we watched just now was very heavy. We'd like to have everyone take just a few minutes to do a deep exhale to kind of, collect your thoughts and yourselves and your feelings of what you just watched and process them. So we're gonna go ahead and start a 2-minute exhale, deep breath, before we get into our panel discussion.
All right. Let me just start off by saying thank you, Jasmine, for creating some space for us to take a little bit of an exhale. If you need more time, if you need to go off screen, whatever you need, that's one of the things that's really important. Self-care was at the core. So please take the time that you might need to recenter, to breathe. I want to ask the panelists to introduce themselves. I'll call on you, and then maybe you can introduce yourself. Before we do that, I just want to lift up two things. One is how important it is to honor and respect the narrative and the stories that are going to come from this panel. Really want to ask that we just hear the different perspectives, the different stories, and that we let them sink into us, right? And then the second thing is, one of the lines that really stuck with me, I think it was Robert Louis Jr. was saying, like, the only thing we have to be afraid of is like the magnitude of brilliance and amazingness that the youth and that these young men have, right? Like, with that being said, let's transition into our panel. Tasha, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself first. Tasha, you're on mute, sorry.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tasha Carrington, and I'm the mom of Darian Carrington, my only child who lost his life on January 8th, 2008, at the age of 18 due to gun violence on Dorchester Ave as he was waiting for his food in Canton House Chinese restaurant. I am a survivor, and I advocate for peace and healing within our community and justice for my son, Darian. Thank you.
Thanks, Tasha. Jasmine, if you would go next.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Jasmine Rodriguez. I am the DEI engagement manager for Big Brothers Big Sisters. I am also a professional recording and performing artist. And I also lost my best friend to gang and gun violence in 2016.
Thank you, Jasmine. Dr. Alicia Moreland Capuya, also known as Dr. AMC, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Aka. I'm Alicia Moreland Capuya. I'm a community psychiatrist, and I've had the privilege of working at the intersection of mental health, substance use, and trauma for the last now almost 18 years. And I think I'll stop there. We'll have an opportunity, but thank you. Really looking forward to the conversation today.
Gail, would you introduce yourself next?
Hi, I'm Gail Whitley. I am a parent of one of the participants who participated in the movie This Ain't Normal. His name is Travis Whitley.
Thanks, Gail. Coach, would you go next?
Good morning again, everyone. Again, thank you for being part of this special and impactful and emotional event. I'm the co-producer, along with my partner and good friend and director, Rudy Hippolyte, of This Ain't Normal. And again, devoted, lifelong, SOAP2 activist, father, mentor, and trying to open eyes and save lives, and wanting to use this film as that instrument to make the change that we all are hoping for. And again, thank you for being a part of this special event.
And then Donald, would you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Aka and Jasmine, for putting this together. Donald Osgood. I am a former Street Safe Boston advocate, community activist, husband, dad, pastor of the community. So I currently work for the Boston Public Health Commission, community incidents, community violence. for having me.
Thanks. Thank you, Donald. Thank you all for introducing yourself. I'm going to start off with some targeted questions to get our panel going, and then we'll transition after that into some open mic Q&A. Let me start off with you, Tasha. You know, your son is mentioned in the movie, and you've told us a little bit, and I want to thank you for being vulnerable, because that's not easy. But I want to know, like, what you want people to know about your life, about your story, and most importantly about your son.
Darian Carrington was a very loving child who grew up to be a very humble, respectable, very compassionate, outgoing young man. And Darian was involved and very active in our church. He sang on the junior choir. He was active on the youth ministry board. He was also a member of the Roxbury Boys and Girls Club from the age of 6 up until his passing. Darian had a passion for playing basketball, and he had big dreams of becoming a player in the NBA. Darian as well had a big brother from the Big Brother and Big Sister Association, and he was very integral a part in Darian's life from the age of 6 until his untimely death. For the first 10 years after the loss of Darian, I really went into a very deep depression. And my pastor's wife came to me and encouraged me to do the Mother's Walk for Peace. And this was in the year 2018. There was where I was introduced to the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, and Miss Tina Sherry, she counseled me for the first 8 months. And that was where my healing journey began. The Peace Institute is a nonprofit organization, a center of healing, teaching, and learning for families and communities impacted by murder, trauma, grief, and loss. They service the community for the last 26 years. I walked into their doors 10 years after the loss of my son, and now I'm a member of the Institute Survivors Network. I also advocate for peace and healing within our community. Since 2018, my church, St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 230 Warren Street, Roxbury, Mass., where my pastor is the Art J. Gordon. We now host community healing services for survivors of homicide victims, as well as surviving family members who lost a loved one due to domestic violence and suicide. I am a survivor, and I'm turning my pain into purpose, seeking peace within my heart. This year, I am a survivor, co-chair for the Mother's Walk for Peace, and I'm representing the faith community. Thank you.
Tasha, I don't know if you can see, but like people are popping up heart emojis on the Zoom. So I think there's a lot of love in this virtual room for you. And thank you for sharing that. I wanna mic up the other mom, Gail. You know, I think you mentioned that your son is also featured in the film. I want to know what should people know about you and your son and your life, and what has this film meant to you?
Well, it's a long journey. I want to say that. It's a hard, tough one on so many levels. And I'm trying to not be too emotional. But it's not easy. It's not easy for a mother to lose their child in any kind of way, other than natural. And even then, that's hard. And every time it happens, it hurts all over again. And for a mother to feel helpless. That's just a feeling that's undescribable. And we are put in these situations time and time again where we're helpless to our own child. And that, again, I just can't describe. And the fact that it continues to go on, the fact that it hasn't gotten any better, the fact that it's gotten 20 times worse in the last 20 years, it's painful. It's painful. And it's painful to see humans demoralized. And they want to be better. And we all want them to be better. But it sometimes seems almost impossible. So no matter sometimes how much they try, they still end up finding themselves in the same predicaments. So it's hard not seeing a change. It's hard with it being so in your face. It's hard because it's the life we live. This is the life we live. That's hard. But it's the truth. Like the mother said, she knew her son needed his mother at that time. What could she do? That's painful, y'all. That's painful. To lose your child and to still see it going on. Y'all imagine that? And it be your life. It's the truth. It happened and it's still happening. So for us to continue to live like this, to have to live like that, I don't know what to say. Other than, this ain't normal. That's all I can say right now.
Thank you, sister. We love you.
I love you all too.
Thank you, Gail. Sending my love. Sending you hug.
Gail, just again, so much love is coming to you, and I deeply appreciate your vulnerability and sharing with us. It's really powerful. I'm a parent. I think there's a lot of parents on the call. So what you say really resonates. I think, here's another perspective. Donald, you are the son. I watched another interview of you. You referenced your mom in multiple spaces, right? And in multiple conversations, you've talked about resources to the community. I want to know how your own life journey has influenced the work that you do, and particularly as it in your day-to-day, but also as it connects to this film.
Yes. Again, thank you for having me. I mean, I survived the 80s, late 80s, 90s. I was shot. I was stabbed a couple of different times, and just referencing my mom, and I have to say my dad too. Moms are more vocal. dads are not as vocal, but you know, in the recent years, my dad has opened up about how he was feeling. And, you know, I can remember a time when, you know, my mom used to tell me that she didn't want to answer the phone. This is, you know, I'm talking in my late teens, early 20s, you know, she would say things like, you know, I'm scared to answer my phone after 10 p.m., you know, because she was always dreading, you know, that phone call that, you know, your son is no longer here. You know, I was living a real reckless life, you know. I didn't care about me. You know, I thought I loved people, right? But I didn't care about me. So I really didn't care about my family. You know, and then just over the course of time, you know, by the grace of God and giving me an opportunity to live, you know, because I'm downplaying the situations, you know, being shot, being stabbed, but definitely I shouldn't be here. It was only God's grace, his intervention. But it gave me a perspective of understanding the young people that, you know, we work with specifically in that film, understanding my neighborhood, understanding the challenges in the neighborhood, you know, understanding that everybody that carries a gun, they don't want to carry guns, right? You know, for some kids, they want to go to school, but to get to school through these different neighborhoods, you know, they need a weapon to get to school. You know, society itself doesn't make it easy for young Black men, you know, young brown men. So I understand it, and that just made me want to get back into this work, you know, or not get back into it, but get into this work, you know, where I can make a difference. You know, my mom tried to get me a big brother when I was about 12, 13. And, you know, whatever the dynamics were back then, it didn't happen. And definitely at the time I needed it, you know, 12 years old was the beginning of my street journey. You know, I took, you know, my mom, she was working and going to school. And so, you know, she had to figure out, like, do I keep food in a place for them to live, or do I spend my time chasing this boy, right? And so, you know, Big Brother was a good program. I didn't get one, so, you know, the streets became my big brother. And so my life goal today is like really to let our young brothers and sisters, because it's trickled into our young ladies now, you know, is to let them know there's another path. You know, when you live in that life, you know, you don't see a path, you don't see hope, because you're not planning to live to see tomorrow, you know. And I might be sharing my story, but I'm sure that probably 85% of the young people that are all the way in this thing, that's their every day. You know, every day I woke up in the morning thinking, all right, you know, I had a game plan of what I was going to do throughout the day. But I also was like, if I don't make it home, that's cool. You know, that was how I was living. So it was if I make it home, that's cool. And if I don't make it home, that's cool. That was my life every day up until I was 28 when I went to prison. That was my mindset. And so I felt like if I had people telling me the things that I'm sharing with the young people now, that my path would have been a hair different, you know. So I thank you, Aka, Jasmine, for, you know, when we met through a panel discussion, right? You all's passion, you know, for our youth, I feel it so much, and I was grateful to be a part of your panel right now because, you know, programs like yours, Boys and Girls Club, you know, these are programs that if we could tweak them just a bit, right, to reach out to the young people that people consider hard, because all the, you know, I could tell you why I went to prison, not even what is on paper, right? But you know what I was looking for when I went to prison, a hug. You know how many lives could change if people got regular hugs? If you got a hug, that could change your day. So that's what I was looking for. And so I try to give that out all the time because I know how important it is. So that's what drives my work today. Everything I do, you know, the work in itself doesn't define how I feel about the youth in my city and just youth across the country. But the passion I have to see these young people win is what drives me every day. So thank you for that question, Nate.
Thanks, Donald. I appreciate that, Donald. You're definitely, to use another one of my friends, you're a credible messenger, and you're a powerful messenger. I've seen several of your interviews, and the work that you've done is amazing and continue to do. And I firmly agree that if we can provide mentors in any shape or form for our youth, it's going to be powerful. It's going to be really powerful. I want to transition to a more a medical lens, a medical perspective. Dr. Alicia Moreland Kapuya, you know, we talked a lot about trauma. I'm wondering if we should be equally talking about healing on an individual level or community level. How do we navigate these spaces? I'm really interested in your perspective on that.
First, thank you, Aka, Jasmine, and big brothers and sisters of Eastern Massachusetts. I first want to acknowledge who I'm in this space with. And Ms. Whitley and Ms. Carrington, I want to thank you for creating the space for all of us to be able to operate in vulnerability and to be genuine, because I believe what compelled our presence here today is that we all want to see something change, and we still have this mustard seed of belief and hope that it actually can. And I actually believe that change is happening. It's happening on these micro scales, and that it only takes this much. And if 1 million people did just this much, that's impactful. And so the opportunity is not lost on me here today, that each of you have that capacity to give a hug, to make a meaningful connection, that big brother, big sister understands the power of relationships. And so I want to highlight just 5 quick things. While I am a physician, I'm very much a community member. I'm a constituent. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I'm a granddaughter. And so I don't want to just be put in one particular box, but it is not lost on me that this film, This Ain't Normal, as the documentary, I've watched it now several times, and I always come out with something different. At the very end, and I know we didn't get to the end, but I want to encourage you, if you haven't had a chance, you know, take it slow, but to see the full of the documentary. Close to the end of the documentary, there's a public member or figure who says, this is a sentiment I'm paraphrasing, that if the community had been, if there had been more resources as opposed to as opposed to surveillance, then perhaps the community could have moved forward. And it reminded me of this, and this is in my mind the real subtext, and this is the first point. My grandmother was raised in a Baptist church, and so that means that I too was raised in a Baptist church. And one of the songs that she would always sing is that he looked beyond my faults and saw my need. And it is not lost on me that there's an opportunity for the general community and everyone here today to look beyond the perceived faults and flaws of what you think you might see and to see a need. Because that's what I see in the community. As we talked, as you saw the small clip and you saw these young men together, like this young man was like, I didn't even have a father. I don't even know what that is. Or, you know, it's the need for connection, family, the need for to relieve suffering. And can we imagine together what it looks like and what it must feel like to be every single day in a space where it feels like suffering upon suffering upon suffering and can't see the light. But this is the power of mentorship and the power of having one, you don't need 1,000, just one meaningful connection of someone to shift the narrative meaningfully and to say, there's life beyond retaliation and there's life beyond pain, that healing belongs to you as well, that wholeness belongs to you as well. And so there's a tremendous opportunity to do that. The second piece is this idea, you asked the question, I work, again, I've had the privilege of working in multiple communities, metropolitan communities, and globally actually, around helping communities, governments, and people heal. And it's a blessing, it's my calling, it's heart work, H-E-A-R-T. And one of the things that I know about communities and organizations and even centers that are moving towards healing is that we have to create the space for grieving. Oftentimes folks want to move away and just skip to the healing part. But what we recognize is that in the healing process, there has to be healthy respect and acknowledgement of grieving, which is why I wanted to start out by thanking Ms. Whitley and Ms. Carrington, because that is deep emotional pain that is felt, it's palpable, and it moves people. And I hope that it moves us all today to act. The fourth piece is, Ms. Whitley, you said, you ended with, I thought very eloquently, this ain't normal. You described the conditions and you're like, this is not normal. Well, no, but let me say it properly. This ain't normal. Make sure we're getting that right. That there is, when we think about what happens in the context of communities, if you think about the impact of being born into communities and places and spaces where you feel like you're not seen, heard, respected, valued, and sometimes you don't even feel like you belong. If you can imagine that level of disconnection and how it contributes to what we understand as survival mode. And hear me clearly, this is not even an excuse. I come to make no excuses today. I simply want to share information because I think when we know better, we can shift our approach. Because I honestly believe in what I have seen in my work with multiple organizations is that that accountability and humanity need not be in direct opposition to one another. Both of those things should coexist. And to the extent that we operate in that space is the extent that we move fully and wholeheartedly and sustainably towards the healing that we all deserve. Lastly, my goodness, I want to go back to where I started. When you think about trauma, it really is the science of suffering. And my life's work has been committed to serving others, doing good, and to reducing human suffering. We all have the capacity to see the good in one person today, to support one person today, to help one person see something different. So I'll end here. I went to Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School in Northeast Portland. And when we would walk into the school, there are a few things that happen that I think is a game changer, and it might be a window for what we might want to do in our respective communities. No matter what the students' conditions were, where they came from, when you walked into that building, every single student had a star that was hanging from the ceiling with their picture on it. And so when they walk into the classroom and when they walk into the hallway, the first thing they would do is look up because they were looking at that star in their picture. And the message subliminally and subconsciously, but also very directly was, you are a star. And no matter what's happening out there, I believe in you. It turns out that we all, even us, we need people to believe in us. That is so powerful. And to love and to believe and to care, it makes a difference, as simple as it may seem. And then the second thing that this school did is no matter what, it doesn't matter, along with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we may have our issues with the Pledge of Allegiance, but we had to say it back then. I won't tell you how old I am. You can guess if you want to. But we also had to say a school pledge. And in this school pledge, it said something like this: if it is to be, now I remember this, as early as 4 years old, we had to say, if it is to be, it's up to me. I can learn and I will learn. And then there's a section that said, I am unlimited. And again, there is an opportunity to shift narrative, to completely do what we call cognitive restructuring. And it's based on our words and our ability to connect and the kinds of conditions that we create. I'm asking us today is what This Ain't Normal asked us to do in the film. Let's look beyond perceived faults and let's see the need.
That was amazing. So much of that resonates with me. I'm gonna internalize making more space for grief. So much wisdom there. Dr. AMC, thank you. I really, really appreciate that wisdom and those pushes. I think that's why we create spaces like this, is that we can learn on an individual and on an organizational level. We can feel deeply, we can connect with being a mom. We know we all want a hug. We know how powerful mentorship is. We all want our name hanging from a star. Yeah, I just really, really thank you all. I'm gonna transition to Coach. Coach, you're a community member. You're a figurative and literal coach. You coach over at Madison Park. Shout out to Madison Park, because we're at Madison Park too. We're digging our heels into support. Canestraro, I see you on the call. You guys are over at Madison Park digging your heels in. We're gonna support. Shout out to Terry for making those bridges happen. It takes a village to raise a tribe. I didn't say that right, but it's something like that. Coach, I want to know what you want people. What do you want people to get from watching this film? What do you want them to know? And how has this film changed how you exist in this world?
You know, I sit here, and as you, Rudy, and I, we involved in so many different screenings, and our main goal and objective is to get this film in front of as many eyes as possible, as far as many policymakers as possible, in front of many kids and fathers and organizations and corporations and people that can make a change. Every time I hear the lovely sister doctor, that heavy sister doctor, and the parents and Brother Osgood, and I just get more motivated, more inspired, more educated, more understanding. And I've devoted my whole life ever since I was 18, and I'm not going to get out there. I know y'all think I'm 29, but my whole life has been devoted, from growing up in Roxbury, Howard Avenue, Homestead Street, and Humboldt Avenue, which then it was about dressing and wearing gaiters and partying and rapping to pretty girls and playing sports, because that was our way and our outlet, that we felt, so many young Black kids, that we have to be a basketball, football star to make it out. You know, we have to be, now we got to be a rapper to make it out. And looking at our panel, listening to our panel, and me working with so many gifted young men, and having interviewed so many gifted young men that have so much to offer society, their community, their families, the nation. And I wrote down, I jotted down some. I'm old school. Young hip hoppers and young millennials, everything's in your phone. I'm old school. I got notebooks and paper filler notes and things that I jot down. And I jot down, change can come and happen in so many forms, because the good doctor's doing it in her way with healing and teaching folks how to overcome setbacks. Because like Sister Lona says, it's in our face every time we wake up in Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. But it ain't just Boston. It ain't just Boston. It's New York, it's New Jersey, it's Dallas, it's California, it's Compton, it's every urban city, every inner city. These valuable brown and Black lives are just being taken away, being undervalued, being unappreciated. And that star, that just sent shockwaves to me, Doctor, as far as these young brothers and sisters who are so gifted, so blessed, they have to be shown, they have to be told how beautiful they are, how successful they are and gonna be and can be. And there's so many negative forces. I told my students and I tell my players, they always say, what does that have to do, Coach? What you talking about? You know, grind, tough love, sacrifice. People that love you make you do things you don't want to do and don't understand why they're making you do them. But when you get older and wiser, you'll understand why they wanted you to get up and be on time, why they wanted you to be respectful, why they wanted you to have a religious foundation in your life, why you had to be educated, why it's all right to learn a skill and not be, you know, everybody don't have to be a lawyer, doctor, a millionaire and all that. Okay, yeah, we need bus drivers, we need farmers, we need carpenters and plumbers, we need counselors, we need, coaches that use sports as I do to touch positive young men and young ladies' lives. And I say again, change can come in so many different forms. We got to make these legislators change their laws. We got to and change the mindset of these police officers that don't respect these young brothers and sisters. Because all of us on this panel, when it rains and it's cold, we put that hoodie on, and we ain't murderers and killers and gangbangers. We got to change the stigmatisms and misperceptions of our young folk. And whether educators, parents, organizations, employees, give these young brothers a second chance. Give these young brothers even a third chance if necessary. But I'm Rudy and I, we are going to continue to promote this film, support this film, and every eye and every mind, every person, white, black, brown, blue, green, pinstripe, whatever, we can make that difference. And I again, I don't want to, I've taken too much time, but I'm just so inspired by the parents, the mothers, the speakers, the panelists. So it's about this film. It's about funding for this film. It's about promoting this film in any small or major way that you can. So Aka, again, let me step aside and let some other panelists, because you got a powerful panel. I say the dream team. Keep inspiring me, you all. I'll be back. I got, the call to action. But I sit here and again, I'm very moved by everything that's being said in this whole event. So I hope I answered your question. I answered about 10 questions, I think.
Coach, you navigated that question fabulously. One of the things that I'm acutely aware of when you lift it up is that the pressure to be one thing, I think you said the pressure to be either an athlete or a rapper. And it's ironic because we have such a diverse audience today. We have construction.
Thank you.
Shout out to Ken Estrada. We have marketing genius. Shout out to Blondine. We have educators. Shout out to Dr. Morgan. We have social workers. We have people from Big Brothers Big Sisters. Shout out to everybody from program services.
We can do it in a special way, Aka. We all can do it in our own special way.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. And so I just would encourage us to kind of let Coach's words sink into us. Let's,
Thank you, brother.
First of all, multiple tries, and we also have to provide opportunity, right? That's everybody's work. I'm gonna transition to our very own and Jasmine. And one interesting thing, y'all, Jasmine has to wear multiple hats. Jasmine she does DEI and community engagement for Big Brothers Big Sisters. She's also a performing artist, but she's also a community activist. Like she's taught Black history, and so Jasmine, like, as we think about the role that we need to play on an individual or organizational level, I'm curious to know what role do we need to do? What level of accountability should there be? Why is it important for organizations to hear narratives like this? And what should they do with it?
For sure. First, before I even get into it, I just want to say, I have so much love for everybody who's been on this panel, who has shared their thoughts and their feelings and their vulnerability. We haven't even met in person yet, but I just want y'all to know, I love y'all for real. And I'm sending so much love to y'all. I had the pleasure and privilege of being on a panel with some of the women from the Little Rock Nine. And one thing that they told me at that time, because I said to them, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, Aka, even though you just said, right, I do DEI work for the agency, and I am a community activist, and I do use my music for activism. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, right? Or I feel like I could do more. And they said to me, you bring what you have. And that has just resonated with me so much, because I think that it's very real. Like, you bring what you have, whatever it is that you have, that you possess, that you can bring to the cause, that is what you bring. You know, I think that Big Brothers Big Sisters, you know, we are part of that village that raises a child. Like, we are mentoring programs like Big Brothers Big Sisters. They give additional support and they give additional opportunities to young people, and they give, you know, coaching to folks who like might not know, like, how do I interact with a young person, right? Like, we have created a space to the benefit of young people to match them with folks within the community, to mentor them, right? Like, we've brought what we have, and there's all types of people who do all types of things in this agency. You know, agencies like these are very much connectors, whether it's events like this that are providing additional insight, or we're connecting, you know, young folks to their mentors or people within the community. It's definitely a catalyst for change. But, you know, like Coach said, there's a lot, like, we're not the end all be all either though, right? There's more to do. Like Coach said, there's legislation that needs to be passed and changed. There's a lack of resources. There's a lack of opportunity, especially for folks who have been incarcerated and are looking to change their lives and can't because they have a record, therefore can't get a job, right? So in that instance, bring what you have. If you have time to spend with a young person, bring that. We'll show you how to utilize it, right? If you have resources to give to a cause, bring that. If you have the ability to go out and vote, bring that, right? If you have the ability to call and try to get legislation passed or changed, or do what you can within your community, especially when it comes to like legislation, do that, bring that. If you own a business and you have the ability to give people jobs and give people a second chance, do that and bring that. So really, like, my biggest theme has always been, you know, bring what you have. And in response to your second question, Aka, about why is it important that community organizations, or just, you know, everybody sometimes hears uncomfortable narratives, it's never too far away from you, and it's never as far away from you as you may think. Number one, you have coworkers and employees who go home, and this is their reality. This is their reality. This is what they come from. They are experiencing what you've seen in this film, whether it's their cousins, whether it's their childhood friends, whether it's their family members, you know, they are experiencing this. It's not just a story on the news. It's not just a headline on a newspaper. Like, these are real people and real things are happening out here in the world. And it's important that we know about them, because everybody can do something, because everybody has an ability to do something. Like I said, bring what you have. So, you know, I think it's really important that we continue to share these narratives, and films like This Ain't Normal continue to, you know, be put in the public eye, and folks continue to understand, like, this is only a block away, or this is 20 minutes up the street, or like, you know, I think the film was put together beautifully, right? But those were real people who were talking to you about their lives. They weren't actors. They were real people who are really experiencing what this film outlines, and there's so many more. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, the time to bring what you have isn't tomorrow, and it's not in a couple of months, and it's not yesterday. Like, it's literally right now. Like, right now is the time for you to bring what you have to a good cause, right? So yeah, that's my piece.
Jasmine, I love that, and a deep shout out for all the support and wisdom that you bring. I love that, and I think that really resonates with me. One, bring what you have, and two, the level of connection, right? Whether it's through the way that Massachusetts is oriented, neighborhood by neighborhood, but like, just assuming that you're, you know, let's stay connected, right? Let's stay connected. It's never too far away. I really, really love that, and it deeply resonates with me. I am conscious of time. It's 1:26. I will open it up for a Q&A. We'll have to keep it relatively short. We do have a call to action from Donald, Coach, and Jasmine, so I want to make sure that I give them the space to do that. But you know, in 1 to 2 minutes, if we could open it up for anybody who has a burning question or a strong question, or an urge to share love and appreciation and respect. Want to leave space for that as well. And then we'll move towards our call to action.
I just wanted to kind of jump in throughout the whole film. There's so many things that were said that resonated with me throughout the film. I grew up, I'm not sure how much you guys know this church, the church, Big Brick Church on Woodrow and Lucerne. So you guys, I spent all my weekends in that area. I guess the quickest way to wrap everything up is if we can find a way to connect with these panelists outside of this space here, so that whenever there is an event, wherever there is, whether it's a march on Blue Hill or a march in Roxbury or whatever event that Big Brothers Big Sisters can help support moving forward, I definitely want to be a part of, and I want to spread to the people I know in this area, because I already know the youth at that church that I grew up in, they need to see this film. I have seen so many things on that Woodrow Street. Woodrow Ave has been the craziest over the years, has seen so much violence. And the youth that are in my church, we're thinking we're in a safe place and parents are praying and their kids are outside in the street and whatever gang violence. So many kids that grew up in church and you thinking, you know, they're participating in something good and they're outside on Woodrow or on Lucerne getting into whatever fights. So many kids have gotten shot while their parents are at church. So I know the youth at that church specifically needs to hear it. So if there's a way that we can link whatever bridges need to be linked so that we can know whatever events are coming up in the community moving forward, I know I personally would appreciate that.
Lindsay, love that you would be willing to share that vulnerability, 1, and 2, you have a commitment. I'm going to stay connected to the panelists and we'll connect resources with connecting resources. I think that's one of the awesome parts of Big Brothers Big Sisters, is that we're in this space collaboratively. We're going to connect resources and we're going to do our best to provide any youth and all youth with a mentor within our capacity, you know. So thank you for lifting that up.
Thank you. To answer Amy's question, yes, I'm not sure if there's a way like a link that we can send, or I can also send you, if we can connect via email afterwards, I can also send you the email to the organization at the church that would be able to show the film. They would also love to do a roundtable with the youth at the church as well. So I don't know if you want to get my email from Aka afterwards. We can definitely connect and speak about that after.
For sure. I can connect. I might need a little bit of time, but I can connect.
Yeah, this is Rudy. We could definitely do that, Lindsay, and we'll be happy to collaborate with you. I think there's some information in terms of contact, but we can definitely get information to you.
Any other closing questions, thoughts? Otherwise, I do want to give Donald and Coach and Jasmine just a couple minutes to close us out with a call to action with respect to time. I know that it's 1:30, so if you have to leave, totally respect that. We are recording this, so I can send the recording out as well. But let's transition. Donald, if I can mic you up again, and then we'll transition to Coach and Jasmine.
Yeah, definitely. So, call to action. You know, a few years back, I ran for mayor. I ran for Senate. And the reason that I ran for mayor, I didn't really want to be the mayor, but I also was tired of complaining, right? I was tired of begging for what the community needs. So, you know, I ran for mayor, which pushed Mayor Walsh to do some things out of what my campaign was talking about. So for me, that was a win. You know, but in the process, I started doing a lot more research, started doing a lot more studying, you know, understanding how much law, you know, legislation, you know, impacts us on a day-to-day basis. And when people say things like, you know, I'm not going to vote, or, you know, I'm not doing politics, you know, one of the things is that politics is doing us if we're not involved, right? So to say all of that to say this, I'm on the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. And so we've been pushing, you know, legislators to do a lot of things. And one of the things, you know, we working on, three things we're working on with legislators right now is access to guns, which is the H2437-1562. The juvenile justice reform, which is the H1826S920, and then also the mental health trauma response, which is the HD 3263, right? Because these are things that will help us with our young people. But then I also encourage you to, you know, do your own homework and really research the laws. When you hear something going out and it sounds like it's good, you know, do some more homework, because sometimes we sign off on things that look good right here, but then behind the scenes is doing something crazy. And I'll close with this. The Corey, right? When it came out, initially, the Corey was to, you know, for sex offenders. That was before the sorry. The Corey, that was what it was for. And then they used that to, you know, attack the community in such a way where once you had a Corey, you couldn't get a job. And that could be for anything. So start doing your own research into all these things that we hear the buzzwords for, but dig deep so that you know if it's something that's going to be beneficial to our community or not. You know, because at the end of the day, all the laws that are passed, you know, the country was built on the white supremacy foundation of, you know, white is right and everything else is wrong. So we got to fix that. We got to tear down that old way of thinking and come in with a new way of thinking, which includes, you know, how diverse our country is. So thank you. Appreciate you again for having me. Thank you for everyone who showed up to, you know, hear us speak. And until next time, God bless you.
Thank you, Donald. I appreciate that. Brittany put the bills in the chat that Donald was referring to. Coach, I'm going to swing quickly over to you.
Yes, sir. And again, I don't need to get into the legislative piece and laws that are affecting mostly brown and black people, as well as, you know, the fabricating and of the laws and evidence and all the stuff that the judicial system and folks do to just entrap us or just misguide us and just keep us entrapped and keep us, as I always said, double standard exists in America that doesn't give us a fair chance. So what my call to action will be, again, and I keep hopping on it because there's so many people that have not seen this movie, this impacting documentary, like was said, this is not Samuel Jackson and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Okay, this is real young brothers and young sisters telling real stories about real life and things that have impacted their life, their families, their community. And I know I've lived it. I've been to, as I mentioned in other screenings, and when I go speak to different forums, I've been to too many funerals, too many hospitals, and not enough weddings, graduations, and receptions. And we all can make a difference, no matter how small or how big. And many people don't think they can. Whether it's us pushing our elected officials to do the right things, of which their platform allowed us and influenced us to vote for them. They tend to talk, but don't walk the walk once they get in. That whether you have jobs, opportunities for these young brothers who, again, can be very productive, very positive, contributing individuals in society, in the community. Once they get a chance to bring home a check the right way, once they get a chance, okay, to be something other than, as I said earlier, a rapper or a professional athlete, because it ain't about all that. God gave us all a gift. And whether it's to be a plumber, whether it's be an electrician, whether it's be HVAC or a coder, or whether it's be a doctor, lawyer, teacher, counselor, or just that young man or young lady that's picking that little trash up in our community. It's all positive, it's all relevant, it's all positive contributors to our community. So we need funding, we need sponsorships, we need donors, so that Rudy and I and our panel, that we can take this movie, not just, this problem, as I said, is not just a Boston problem, it's a systemic, nationwide, urban problem. And the more people we can educate, the more people, there's people that don't want to change, racists, sexists, folks that it's all about the dollar and material things. But I believe that if we can influence them, whether through film, the visual, the audio, money, grants, we can show them a way that a lot of people can make a silent change. A lot of people can make a monetary change. A lot of people make a legal change, a law change. How, like I said, the police look at our brown and black children that have hoods on. I used to stand on a corner and sing and rap and look at the pretty girls go by. I wasn't a gangbanger. That's where we hung, that's where we lived. And as long as we can educate folks, we can make a change. And each and everybody on this panel, I'm telling you, it ain't gotta be about millions and millions of dollars, although that will help from Rudy and I to get out there and show this movie all across America and even globally, if possible, because that's what it's about. It has a never-ending life, this movie. So let's get behind the movie, make a change at home. It starts at home, y'all. Okay, single parent. My mama did a hell of a job, and I'm sure many of you females and mothers have done a hell of a job. But a mother can't be a father, and a father can't be a mother. It takes two. And it takes positive mentors, positive young men and young ladies that can be that force, that guiding force to navigate these young people. I've done it. I've saved so many young people's lives by giving them tough love, showing them that they can be somebody. Whatever you can conceive and believe, you can achieve. And there's hope. It's not where you stop, it's where you end up. And I get so many calls nationwide from young men who had nothing like me and you. And now they're doctors, lawyers, businessmen, teachers, coaches, community activists. So I say that to say, come on, y'all, get funding for our movie, please. Support This Ain't Normal. Make the world, your families, our communities a better place, because we can get it done, y'all. Together, we can get it done. Thank you, Aka. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you, team. Thank you, panel. Thank you, everybody, y'all. Come on. Love y'all.
Coach, thank you. I appreciate that. Jasmine, I'll give you the final word and then we'll wrap up.
All right. Like Coach said, we can get it done, right? And there's a million ways to get it done. But for those of you who are interested in becoming a mentor and doing this one-to-one work with our young people, we do have a call to action for you today. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Mass currently serves over 2,000 young people in the greater Boston area, and we can serve a lot more with your help. Sign up to become a big and mentor a young person in Boston today. Sign up your young people to become littles in our program. Bring us in to do some info sessions for your folks who work for and with you, so we can talk to them about the opportunities that we have available to become mentors in the community. We can double that. We can make that 4,000. We can keep going, right? It's all about just getting involved. And if this is, the way that you're interested in getting involved, we have the way. So please contact us and come and get involved with us today.
Hey, could you remind folks that we have that information? Rudy and I have supplied the information for anybody who wants to get involved and support Creative Buzz Documentary Films LLC, and also anybody that wants to contribute grants and sponsorship. That information I think was rolling down the pocket. Sorry.
I can connect anybody that needs. I'm gonna just say that we put some links in the chat. There's also some contact details. Feel free to reach out to me. You can also open any feedback on how the event went, or what you would have wanted to hear, or any pushes or any thoughts. You can email me at aka@emasbigs. That's aka@emasbigs, and I can also connect anyone that needs. Jasmine also put hers in. That's it, everybody. We're 11 minutes over, which is good for us. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope that you walk away with some learning, some power, some movement, and hopefully some activism. So really, really appreciate everyone attending. Thank you.